Okay, so then I'll give you my version of a marginalized story voice dilemma versus a middle class one.
Okay.
Marginalized one would be a little girl wants to go to a birthday party, but the friends in the neighborhood, the mothers know that her mom cleans houses.
Right.
And they don't, she's nice, but we don't really know her, dear. I'm so sorry. And the middle class one is someone's applying for colleges, but it turns out most of her friends are getting accepted into another one, and she's not sure if her GPA is good enough to get into that one.
Okay.
And so she's like worried that, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my good high school friends, and what's going to happen to my standing in that sort of group.
Got it. So these are like seeds of a story, right? Okay. So tell me, what's your question?
My question is, are the stakes higher for the author with the marginalized voice, where that means non-inclusion into a group, whereas the other one, the middle class one, is more worried about just maybe losing sort of footing and maybe losing touch? Are the stakes higher for one versus the other?
I think that I don't think of stakes. I mean, gosh, I don't know how to answer that question, because I don't think the stakes are about the actual situation. The stakes are really about the ability for the writer to convey a sense of, urgency or anxiety. In other words, but that's not, we're not really talking about dilemma. We're just talking about stakes. The stakes should always be life and death in every story. They're always life and death. If Jan Brady doesn't get a date with Tad Hamilton, she will absolutely die. Stakes are always life and death. Mm-hmm. If they're anything less than life and death, we don't care at all. We don't care at all.
Got it. Okay.
But if you want to talk about dilemma, there are two ingredients to a dilemma, as I see. So a dilemma is a problem that can't be solved without creating another problem. And when you connect to your dilemma, you're connecting to the aliveness in your story. There are two ingredients to a dilemma: a powerful want, a powerful desire, okay, and a false belief, a misperception of myself or the world. Okay, and so when Sally loves me, then I'll be complete. Okay, now that's the beginning of the story. I got to get Sally to love me in order to be complete. Do you see a powerful desire? If Sally doesn't love me, my life will be unimaginable. And the false belief is that Sally will complete me. At some point, so we've got a powerful desire. Remember that story structure is desire, surrender, transformation. We've got to surrender. I'm going to have to let go of the meaning I make out of my goal. As long as I believe that Sally's love completes me, I will forever be in bondage to Sally, or my idea of Sally's love. Because the audience or the reader is going to be disappointed if all that happens at the end of the story is that Sally loves me. That's going to be a really if Jimmy Stewart left Bedford Falls at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, we would be disappointed, because that's not what the story is about. The story isn't about, the plot is about, will Sally love me? The theme is about completeness. What does it mean to be complete? Oh, it doesn't mean completeness comes from outside of ourselves. It comes from within. Okay, so that's a dilemma. The dilemma is, what is it? The theme is completeness. If you're doing a story about justice, let's say I'm in prison, and or freedom. Let's say this is a story about what does it mean to be free. So if I'm in prison and I want to be free, I might believe at the beginning of the story that when I escape, then I'll be free. Okay, and that's the dilemma. That's the dramatic question. And then through the story, I might actually succeed in escaping and discover that I'm still not free. That could be the dark night of the soul. Let's say I escape with another buddy, and we're shackled, and we get away, and then he trips and twists his ankle, and now I've got to decide, I really want to be free, but now I got to take a blunt instrument and kill my buddy, and you know what I mean, and and now am I free? You know what I'm saying? And they're chasing after me, and so in my attempt to become free, in your protagonist's attempt to get what he or she wants, they move increasingly away from their desire. Okay, so my attempt to be free moves me further away from freedom, leading to the end of Act 2, where I have to let go of the meaning I made out of my goal. I.e., when I escape prison, then I'll be free. End of Act 2, I discover that true freedom comes from within. And I might discover at the end of the story that freedom might involve going back to prison, taking responsibility for my crime. Okay, and so that's the shift in perception. So that would be, so desire, I want to be free. Surrender, I have to let go of the meaning of my false belief of what freedom means. And transformation, I have a new understanding of freedom.
I think you'd use The Social Network, another video I watched.
Oh,
you want to use that as an analogy as well? Because I found that interesting.
Yeah. I think gosh, that was a long time ago. So the dilemma of The Social Network is the tension between integrity and ambition. Okay, so if I'm really ambitious and I want to make $1 billion, it's the same kind of thing. I set out on this quest, but did I steal this idea from these two gorgeous twins? And
they were quite handsome.
Yeah, and so that's what the Social Network explores. Every single scene examines the dilemma of integrity versus ambition. Okay, and so he's driven by his ambition. What do I want? I want to succeed. What do I need? I need to do the right thing. Okay, and I think it's kind of an ambiguous ending, but it leaves us with that question. Sure. Does the end satisfy the means, or does something like that?